All right, so I saw some things online, quite a few posts, people saying they think that the Conor McGregor Cowboy Cerrone fight was fixed. That Conor was just supposed to win that fight, was supposed to look good, come back, because he's a moneymaker. And obviously, the UFC loves him, and they fed him the entire way. Unbelievable fights that he never deserved. And saying he deserves a shot at Habib now after winning that fight, and you know, wasn't even a lightweight fight. And his last lightweight fight, he lost to Habib. So a lot of people are saying that. I don't think it was fixed like that. That's not my contention. Um, my contention is, if it were fixed, if there were anything about it that I would say was fixed, it was that he got to fight Cowboy Cerrone in the first place. I mean, he picked his opponent. Give me a guy who's lost 2 in a row by knockout. Now it's 3 in a row. He's almost 37. He loves to stand and trade with people. He's a slow starter. I mean, everything works in that regard in Conor's favor. But I think the UFC has a much bigger problem, if we want to be honest here. The fact that people think you would fix fights, and it's not like it's half the people who watch UFC think that. It's percentage-wise, it's a small percentage, but it was a lot of people saying it. So, however you want to judge that, the issue I do have is that if people think you would fix fights, then I think that's where your problem is, and you are always going to have an issue there with trust. If people don't trust you, what do you have? And it's fairly obvious that people don't trust you. They don't trust Dana White. They don't trust the system. They don't trust the fact that when the UFC was sold for $4 billion, that causes the people who bought it to have to come up with a lot of money. That's a lot of money to pay back. And I think that's ultimately, it all feeds together. You say, well, they need the money. They need the stars. You've got championship fights. And a lot of them are sporadic. I mean, even, Habib says he wants to keep busy, but he's fighting like every 9 months. It was 11 months from his fight with Conor to his fight with Poirier, and then it'll be 9 months before the Tony fight. So I'm not saying that he doesn't need the time off. He shouldn't take a world tour. He shouldn't do those things. But if you're the guys who are saying, hey, how do we make enough money to make all our payments, and we need our stars to step up or have more stars. And people see that, and people recognize it, and they're saying it. But the fact that they don't trust you, and they're saying, we think you're cheating, we think you would rig a fight to make money, it speaks to what your level of trust is. And I think that's huge. I think it's very big for people to want to feel like they trust you, feel like they're part of it. I mean, that's something, UFC, people think it's a blue-collar sport. They've been there from the beginning, and all the things that they do, and they enjoy that. And if they feel like it's a bunch of billionaires just trying to suck up every dime they can get their hands on, I think, we see a real issue there, and it's one that can tear your sport down. I think, boxing and all the corrupt ideas about boxing that people have had for a long time now could easily filter over to MMA and tear it apart. And that's not good. That's not good for your business. It's not good for your bottom line. And, if that's what you want, if that's who you're going to be, and change the narrative of, we're all together here. I mean, people felt that for years. They felt so many things, so many fighters. Forrest Griffin was such a great ambassador for the sport because he just felt like somebody you could have a beer with. He felt like, people, he's a good guy, he's a cool guy. Matt Hughes was just a country boy. I mean, they could always find somebody they could relate to. And now they don't relate to this. They're willing to forgive Conor's garbage, all the legal problems and things he's done, for the fight, for the big fight, for the excitement, for the trash talk, for all that garbage. But at the end of the day, the one thing people won't put up with is feeling like they've been betrayed, they've been cheated, because then they feel, we're all together behind Conor or whoever, and but when you're not behind me, then we no longer have something in common that we have a basis for a relationship on, or something good. And I think it's a major issue when people are willing to say and think that you're cheating. And you catch them in lies. We've caught Dana White in so many lies. And we've caught, we would never, whatever. And people then say, that's not true. I mean, the bus incident in New York was a huge one for so many people, and I totally agree with it. I remember the day it happened, that press conference comes out, Dana White's all on it, and he says, after this, would you want to be in the Conor McGregor business? And then he takes the footage, runs it 24/7, promoting the fight with Khabib. They didn't find it wasn't embarrassing to them. It wasn't a bad situation for them. They used it to promote a fight to make money. And people who break it down and see that look at it and say, that's not cool. That, time heals a little in the distance, and Conor went to court and pled whatever he pled. But people saw you say one thing, the soundbite, who'd want to be in the Conor McGregor business after that? And then, well, you answered your own question. You do. You're the one who went out and just gave him the next fight, gave him the fight against Khabib, used all his antics as footage to promo it, not seeming to be too embarrassed about it, not seeming to have a real issue with it. And, that speaks volumes, of who you are. And I think a lot of people in the sport who watch it and are fans of it now are in the same boat. They feel, why wouldn't you bring a fight for Conor? I mean, it's obvious you want him to be champion. You want him to have these fights, even if he doesn't deserve them. I mean, look at the lightweight division. It's full of great fighters. Guys who are fighting all the time and trying to get a leg up, and they're winning. And there's a lot of them who are doing great things and amazing things. You give him a fight against a guy who's not winning, not even at lightweight, and then that qualifies him to jump ahead of all these other fighters for a title shot. People are putting 2 and 2 together, and the number they're coming up with isn't 4. You need to think about that a little bit and decide if this is who you really want to be. Because these kind of things, while you're making money now, they can turn around and bite you in the ass. And, unless you're really kinky, that's not a lot of fun.